Carolyn Jone was one of the most amazing actresses of her time. She captivated the audience with her haunting beauty and her amazing performance as Morticia Addams. On screen, she is portrayed as a mysterious and elegant woman, but in reality, she faced many personal challenges, which led to her tragic end that left all her fans heartbroken. Join us as we tour Carolyn's abandoned house, her husband, and everything she left behind. Body. Carolyn Jone's childhood and early life. Carolyn Sue Jones was born on the 28th of April, 1930 in Amarillo, Texas. Her parents are Julius Alfred Jones, a baker, and Chloe Jeanette Southern, a homemaker. Due to her parents' professions, young Carolyn did not have much while growing up, so her early years were filled with some challenges. These challenges, however, continued to shape her into a good person in the future. When Carolyn turned 4 years old in 1934, the worst happened to her as her father abandoned the family. Her father's departure forced Carolyn, her mother, and her sister, Bet Rhea, to move in with her maternal grandparents, who lived in Amarillo. Their grandparents' house was relatively modest, but provided a refuge, especially as they went through a very trying time. After moving in with her grandparents, her grandfather, Charles W. Baker, played a massive role in her upbringing. She went to him whenever she needed financial or emotional support. Carolyn loved her childhood days with her grandparents. However, her severe chronic asthma never allowed her to enjoy her youth. The condition was so terrible, and she hated how it would confine her to her room for an extended period. This meant she was consistently isolated from other children and could never fully engage in childhood activities. She developed a deep love for reading to pass the time and escape the prison her illness created for her. She particularly loved Hollywood fan magazines. She would spend hours in those glossy pages, and soon she was captivated by the glamour of the silver screen and began to dream of becoming an actress. Carolyn became hugely invested in turning her dreams into reality, so she thought of a plan. The plan included her setting her sights on the Pasadena Playhouse in California. This playhouse was notable for producing some of the best acting talents. When Carolyn turned 17, she got financial backing from her grandfather and enrolled in the institution. This was the beginning of a very formal training in acting, and it also set her on the path to success. When she got to the playhouse, she knew this was where she wanted to be, so she dedicated everything she had to her craft. She spent hours on her studies and constantly honed her skills, as if she knew they would later define her career. However, Carolyn did not only spend her time there studying acting, she also networked with some amazing people who later changed her personal and professional life. One of the people she met was a man called Don Donaldson. The two shared a passion for acting and soon became very close. It wasn't long before their relationship turned into love, and they married in 1950. However, their marriage did not last because they divorced a year later. After her failed marriage, Carolyn continued chasing her dream, and soon she crossed paths with Aaron Spelling, a young actor and aspiring writer. The meeting between Carolyn and Aaron was electrifying, and they related perfectly because they both shared a love for the entertainment industry. The two also had a strong chemistry, and soon their romance began. They got married on the 5th of April, 1953, and by the time they got married, Carolyn's career was growing greatly, but Aaron was still trying to find his footing in the industry. Carolyn demonstrated huge support for her husband, so she began to take on some acting roles that were not so prestigious to provide financial stability. As a result of her selfless act, Aaron got the freedom he needed to focus on his writing and production. Later, Aaron spoke deeply about how Carolyn was highly instrumental in his success. He mentioned that he wouldn't have been where he was if she had not continuously made the sacrifices she did, so that he could pursue his dreams without worrying about finances. Carolyn's support and encouragement made Aaron one of the most influential television producers in history. He was especially known for his iconic shows that defined generations. Despite their success, their marriage still faced many challenges, including the pressures Hollywood placed on them. However, the two remained supportive of each other and respected their marital vows. Carolyn and Aaron's careers. Carolyn Jone and Aaron Spelling were two prominent figures in Hollywood, and their careers intertwined personally and professionally. Their relationship was so strong that it left a very strong and lasting impact on the entertainment industry. Carolyn's acting career officially kicked off during the 1950s, and she was extremely fast in establishing herself as a very versatile and talented actress. This talented actress appeared in many films and always showed off her range and depth in each role. One of her most significant performances was in House of Wax. She played Kathy Gray's role, which brought her very early recognition. Another of her roles that brought early recognition was the role she played as Theodora Teddy Belisette in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. She was so great in this role, and it confirmed her status in Hollywood. In this role, Carolyn's character was entangled in a very terrifying plot of alien invasion, and she nailed her performance by delivering a thrilling act that resonated with the audiences and critics as well. A year after this, she took on the role of the existentialist in The Bachelor Party. Once again, she gave her all to this role and eventually earned herself an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. With each of these roles, Carolyn highlighted her ability to bring complex characters to life, and she became a sought-after actress. While Carolyn was nailing it on the silver screen, her husband, Aaron Spelling, was also carving out a niche for himself behind the scenes. Aaron started as an actor, but he soon realized his true passion was storytelling and production. So he moved to writing and production, where he felt fulfilled. Aaron had an amazing gift. He had a keen eye for talent and always understood just what the audience wanted. This unique skill made it easy for him to produce amazing and successful television shows. Aaron produced shows like Charlie's Angels, The Love Boat, Dynasty, and Beverly Hills 90210. One of the most beautiful things about his productions was the engaging storylines that always appealed to the masses and portrayed a glamorous life. His shows did so well, solidifying his position as a television mogul. Carolyn and her husband Aaron both had flourishing careers, and with their success came a strong demand and pressure from Hollywood. This pressure caused a considerable strain on their relationship. Carolyn, who was beginning to rise as an actress, and Aaron, who had become a sought-after producer, both became consumed by their professional commitments. They faced challenges when it came to maintaining a personal relationship, and because they had become Hollywood's spotlight, it became very evident that they were slowly drifting apart. By 1964, it became extremely difficult to hide that they were slipping away, so they decided to part ways amicably. The primary factor stated was that Aaron had become too dedicated to his work and paid no attention to Carolyn. Carolyn once told columnist Hedda Hopper that Aaron was married to his job. However, even though these two were separated, they still respected each other. And Aaron even played a huge role in connecting Carolyn with many opportunities after their divorce. One of his best recommendations was for Carolyn Jone to play Morticia Addams in The Addams Family. Aaron also recommended Carolyn for the iconic role. However, after the two divorced, Carolyn moved her focus to television since it was a medium growing rapidly in prominence. She did not stand alone in it. She collaborated with exceptional TV producers, leading her to get a guest role in several popular 60s shows. She appeared in roles like The Love Boat, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and Batman. In all these roles, she portrayed a very intriguing and diverse character. Something was different about Carolyn. Unlike other actresses, She loved offbeat and mysterious roles because they allowed her to explore all the various facets of her acting prowess. This love was greatly seen in her portrayal of Morticia Addams in The Addams Family. She performed beautifully in this role, and it soon became synonymous with her name, landing the role of Morticia Addams. When we look at the journey Carolyn had to embark on to become the iconic Morticia Addams, we see a woman who was determined and backed by unexpected opportunities. During the early 1960s, television producers were on a search for who will play the role of Morticia, and this search was proving to be very challenging as they could not see anyone that would bring the quirky cartoon character to life. A lot of actresses auditioned for the role, but still, none of them could fully capture the allure that the producers wanted. It was during this period that someone proposed Carolyn Jone for the part. By this time, Carolyn was already known for her extremely dramatic roles in movies such as The Bachelor Party and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. However, she was known for dramatic roles, so the producers believed that she wasn't the best fit for a comedic role. Her blend of sophistication and subtle humor intrigued the producers, so they allowed her to audition. Before the audition, Carolyn was determined to get the role, and so she approached with a clear vision. She had read the script and knew that Morticia was not just your typical housewife, but that she was an elegant, eerie centerpiece of the Addams household. When she auditioned, she embodied Morticia's character and delivered her lines with such sincerity that it highlighted the morbid charm of the character. The producers were shocked by the portrayal and offered her the role. Carolyn accepted without hesitation, as she was determined to create something memorable. For her to transform into Morticia, it took more than a tremendous acting prowess. A complete physical metamorphosis was needed. The makeup team began to work on giving Carolyn the ghostly complexion that Morticia was to have. And they used a foundation which appeared almost luminescent under the black and white filming conditions. Her eyes were accentuated with light blue eyeshadow and a cat eyeliner, which was classic in the 1950s. Her costume was also pivotal. Her signature clothing was a form-fitting, floor-length black gown that had octopus-like tendrils at the hem. This dress soon became an iconic piece in the television wardrobe. The dress was so tight that most of the time Carolyn had to be sewn into it, and this limited her movement and resulted in the character's distinctive gliding walk. To ensure that the transformation was complete, Carolyn developed a soft and sultry voice that came with a hint of menace. This way, Morticia's seductive and spooky essence could be captured. After the movie aired, it became a huge hit, but its success was not just a result of Carolyn's performance. The chemistry between the cast contributed significantly to it. Gomez Addams was portrayed by John Astin, and he always sang Carolyn's praises for being so professional and highly talented. The duo had an amazing on-screen relationship, and it showcased how deeply they were in love. The show also came with a playful and passionate dynamic, which was extremely rare in television then. Nevertheless, their performances were loved by the audience, and it even set a precedent for how romantic relationships on screen should be. Indeed, Morticia's role brought Carolyn immense recognition, but it also posed a strong challenge in typecasting. Carolyn became so close to the character that she soon found it difficult to move to diverse roles. Still, she approached this problem with grace and resilience. Despite her fear, she kept working in television and film, and even embraced diverse roles. The age trick. Carolyn has always had a history of portraying characters that required her to appear older or ageless. Her age trick was achieved through makeup, strategic lighting, and her ability to exclude a certain mystique. Most of the makeup artists who worked with her had to employ different contouring techniques to add depth and maturity to her features. The lighting specialists then used shadows and highlights to enhance these effects. All these helped to create an illusion of age or timelessness, which was required by the role. After so many decades, these techniques are still being used in shows like The Golden Girls, where the actresses are meant to portray characters slightly older than themselves. The Addams Family unfortunately ended in 1966 after just 2 seasons, despite how popular it was. When asked about this, the network mentioned that many factors influenced their decision to cancel the show. Some were competition from similar themed series and a shift in what the audience preferred. Carolyn was deeply affected by the cancellation of this show, as her portrayal of Morticia was the defining role in her career. She had become so connected to the character, and when the show ended, she had to undergo another transition in her professional life. Carolyn received a lot of recognition during her career for her acting prowess. She even earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress for her role in The Bachelor Party. She also won a Golden Globe Award as one of the most promising newcomers in 1959. Unfortunately, her portrayal of Morticia in The Addams Family did not win her any major awards during its original run. Still, this same performance has been celebrated as iconic, and it has influenced many portrayals of similar characters in the media. Even after The Addams Family ended, Carolyn did not allow her passion for acting to die with it. She kept acting in diverse roles across television and film and demonstrated her versatility and dedication to the craft. She was deeply committed to her profession and was willing to embrace all the challenging roles that came her way to continue pursuing her artistic growth. Life after Morticia. Carolyn continued to grow in the entertainment industry after The Addams Family ended. She flourished in live theater, and like before, she never shied away from the complex roles, which went a long way in revealing the facets of her personality. She thought that The Addams Family was her life. The end of the show in 1966 marked a very pivotal time. She was eager to diversify and reconnect with her live audiences, and her love made her move toward theater. Back then, the theater was known as the world where immediacy and authenticity reigned supreme. So in 1967, when she joined the cast of Harold Pinter's The Homecoming, she stepped into a whole new world. Carolyn was brought into this play to replace Ruth. The play is famously known for its extremely intricate exploration of family dynamics and power struggles. It also provided Carolyn with the platform she needed to dive into a character so rich in nuance and complexity. After this play ended, Carolyn continued in her theatrical pursuits and starred in a role in Neil Simon's California Suite back in 1978. In this production, Carolyn showed she was one of the best actresses out there because she played multiple characters: Hannah Warren, Diana Nichols, and Millie Michaels. Each character had distinct and personal challenges, and Carolyn portrayed them all perfectly. She was able to seamlessly transition between these diverse roles, and it showed how well she could adapt to any role and her depth as an actress. While Carolyn usually played a cold character in her movies, in reality, she was a very warm and vivacious individual. Her friends and colleagues often remarked on how she was so cheerful and approachable. The differences between her real-life personality and her on-screen characters showed that she was an exceptional actress. This allowed her to fully embody roles that were worlds apart from her true self. After Carolyn returned to the stage after the conclusion of The Addams Family, she noticed a rekindling of her passion for performance. At first, she was scared, but the live feedback from the audiences reignited her love for acting and gave her a sense of fulfillment that transcended the accolades of film and television. Nevertheless, her journey was not free from obstacles. During the early 80s, Carolyn met an adversary, colon cancer. When she first got the news, she was devastated. However, she soon became resilient and chose to keep her diagnosis private while she continued to work. The moments she spent working contributed to a tremendous physical toll, but that did not stop her. In 1981, she took on the role of Myrna Clegg in the CBS daytime soap opera Capital. Despite her declining health, Carolyn stayed true to her craft and was dedicated to her work. Most of the time, she performed the scenes from a wheelchair, and this professionalism went a long way in inspiring her peers and the audience. Her courage and determination left a mark on the acting community. People loved how she navigated the demands that live theater skillfully gave her, while still tackling the most complex roles and pushing through her personal health battles. Most people admitted they would have given up a long time ago, but Carolyn did not. She showed people what true artistry looked like, and that it was a relentless pursuit of storytelling, regardless of what challenges may arise. After reflecting on her career, it is evident that Carolyn Jone was more than the sum of her roles. She was a testament to the enduring spirit of a true artist. Carolyn's tragic end. Carolyn Jone was diagnosed with colon cancer in 1981, and she exhibited a remarkable resilience by continuing her acting career despite the physical toll cancer had on her. After acting in many scenes in the Capitol from a wheelchair, Carolyn's health began to decline rapidly. As her health got worse, she spent most of her final days in her West Hollywood home, where close friends and family surrounded her. Unfortunately, on the 3rd of August, 1983, she gave in to the sickness and passed away at the age of 53. Her ashes were interred alongside her mother's at Melrose Abbey Memorial Park in Anaheim, California. Carolyn's net worth at the time of her demise was not documented for the public. Also, specific details as to her philanthropic actions remain scarce, but it was known that she had a very generous spirit and a passion for nurturing young talents. Her legacy has endured through the most iconic performances, and she still serves as a source of inspiration for most aspiring actors because she demonstrated an unwavering dedication to her craft, even in the face of adversity. Inside Carolyn Jone's abandoned home. Carolyn Jone resided in a modest home in West Hollywood, California, before she passed. Her residence showed off her unassuming lifestyle, and it was the same place she spent most of her time before she passed on the 3rd of August, 1983, at the age of 53. When Carolyn lived in the house, it was a true reflection of her personality, which was elegant yet unpretentious. She did not have the kind of lavish estates that most Hollywood stars had, but she made sure that her home screamed of simplicity and brought warmth to anyone who stayed in it. Her neighbors said that she was a very gracious and approachable individual. Carolyn was kind and elegant like no one else, leaving a lasting impression on the community. It also painted a picture of a woman whose real-life demeanor differed entirely from the mysterious characters she usually played. However, there are no specific details about the current state of her home or its contents, but it is widely known that her residence was a huge part of her life until she passed away. What do you think? Was Carolyn living a peaceful and humble life after all the fame? Or did she deserve a bigger spotlight in her final years? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.